Hello everyone, welcome to Digital and Data Coffee with Andy again. So in this particular episode, we are going to talk about a myth or a myth about data science, right?
Yeah.
That there's I think Harvard Business Review or McKinsey Harvard Business Review, right? They published an article like a few years ago that says data scientist, right, or data science is the sexiest job in the 21st century. David, what do you think?
I would definitely say there are a lot of sexy jobs in the world that I cannot do. So for example, become just like a stock trader, won millions of dollars. That's also very sexy. So I think there are many attractive aspects of data science. So for example, the first thing is that you can really have very high impact on the business. If you try to improve your, for example, margin by 2% for a larger company, then you will help them to earn a lot of money. So people will appreciate your work. And another thing is that usually it's very intellectual interesting because you can always think about very hard problem, use very difficult methods and write a lot of programs to solve that. So I would say from a intellectual curiosity perspective, it's actually a very, very good job. But I would say there are always two sides for a job. There are certain things very exciting, then there are some things that you will hate a lot. So I would say for me personally, I hate a lot about data cleaning because usually in the business world, even though for the real large company like Facebook or Google, most of the time the data will in a mess. The data lake is pretty messy. There are a lot of pipelines that you will not understand what's happening behind the scene. And once you get the data, you sometimes will feel, hey, it's pretty weird. What's wrong with the data? And then when you try to trace back, you will see that, oh, it's actually from the one team in the US owns this data pipeline. The pipeline break in a very small pieces so that you can see a very weird number from data just in Taiwan. So you kind of have this very messy stuff.
I think David has mentioned, right? You spend a lot of time, right, doing data cleaning, right? And that is a pain. I came across a post, right, that they say that data scientist, right, is really an angle management job. Right?
Exactly.
The word Philadelphia. I'm not sure if you have seen that article, that article, right? Philadelphia, right? There are at least 30 over ways of spelling that word, right? But when they capture in the system, right? If you are going to run some analysis, if they are being spelled differently, so what the system will classify them as they are different category, right? Whereas you meant the same, right? For each of these category. So I'll say that it's not because first thing, right? You have to do a lot of data cleaning, and data cleaning is really taking about 80% of our time. Right.
I would say for data science, you actually wear multiple hats all the time, because sometimes business need a report and they don't have the capability to manipulate those data very easily. Then we actually need to help, and you can hardly say no to them because it seems to be a very urgent and very important decision to make. So we need to provide correct insight as soon as possible. So you kind of need to write a lot of SQL to just get one number. And I think another thing is that, as Andy mentioned, you are like a sandwich. So the business team will have tons of expectation and creative thoughts on what they want you to do to build AI-driven targeting system. They want you to build a cost detection system that you can identify the loss here. So they will come to you and say, hey, David, you are a data scientist. You seem to be very smart. Can you help on this? Then the technical team will have a very strong pushback because our system is not ready. We have a lot of things to do. We don't have a lot of stuff. So I think actually data scientist is somehow like a product manager, but we use data to solve problems instead of building system. So kind of you are like a sandwich. And I think when I was a junior data scientist, I feel very excited because I can understand how the business works very well. I could see a lot of data and really build algorithms. But when I became a data team lead, I started to negotiate with other teams and try to prioritize requests, etc. So it's actually pretty challenging because you have lots of requests from different teams, and you also want to make sure that your team has a like good impression for others. So you need to think very carefully on what requests you should take and what kinds of requests you can push back. So kind of like it's actually pretty challenging for the science taste because in our like junior role we don't have a lot of training on that. But once you become the manager, you were pushed to on the stage and you need to become like a very popular singer and make people in the organization love you. So kind of like very challenging.
So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you, David. So we are looking forward to see you again in the next episode. And if you have any questions, right, do drop them. Do drop an email either to myself or you can actually drop it to David directly as well. Thank you so much and see you next time.